maybe around 12-ish, which was very impressive. Garrison Matthews, great three-point shooter for the Atlanta Hawks, didn't really get going at all. So those are big things, and a lot of that has to do with our new guy. Shout out to Dorian Finney-Smith. I think he's going to be a great piece of this team. DFS, it's just going to take time. I think people think everything's going to mesh up early on, but that's just not the case. Even he talked about in his post-game interview that he's still learning where he's supposed to be in different defensive sets, offensive sets. So he's getting comfortable. First game, he couldn't hit a three. Second game, he knocked two down. And I think they were back-to-back, maybe in the same quarter, if I'm not mistaken. He had that nice reverse layup off the right baseline, I think. Sorry, I had to get my left and right together. But yeah, he looks a little bit more comfortable. And I have to assume the more he plays, the better he'll look. And shout out to Milo in the chat again. He talked about Shake. Shake has been good as well. Besides that awful looking jump shot, no offense. Hey, if it goes in, it goes in. I'm not going to judge you too much. He looks good. Like, his playmaking looks good. It looks like he's kind of meshing well with those LeBron James lineups, which is a plus, especially with Gabe Vincent being out. I don't think people realize now how much Gabe means to us, but I think Shake's been doing a pretty good job of kind of filling in for that role. Not saying he's Gabe, because obviously Gabe to me is a way better defender, but he's been there when we needed him. So shout out to Shake. He had I think he had a tough mid-range shot, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he hit a three, but he did pretty good. But for me, Austin Reeves, man, I don't even know where to start, man. Austin Reeves has been playing amazing basketball. People said, hey, if we trade D'Lo, where's our playmaking going to come from, man? We don't have any playmakers on the team. Austin Reeves has accepted that challenge. He's a double-double, almost actually triple-double machine nowadays. He's been playing great basketball. So I've been excited to kind of catch up and watch Reeves ball out. It's been impressive to me, like his jumps offensively, his decision-making. And for me, he just has like this feel for the game. We were kind of talking about it live. Also, shout out to the chat. If you're here watching live, make sure you follow up. We will be live tonight for Lakers versus Rockets. That's gonna be a huge game. So make sure you come back. At what 6:30, I think we'll start it up. Make sure you guys come back for that. But yeah, getting back to Austin Reeves, he just has this thing about him where he knows when to make the right decisions. A couple games ago, we were kind of down or in a stagnant mode. Reeves checks in. He didn't score every play, no, but he was a part of every single play offensively. Like, he was dropping assists, he was playing defense. Like, he's an impactful player. And I just appreciate Reeves a lot for that, especially on nights where we don't have a Gabe Vincent as a backup guard anymore, especially nights where maybe Anthony Davis isn't always the best. Austin Reeves has gave us great production on both ends of the floor. So I appreciate him for that. I think it's been some really fun games. And yeah, I'm excited to see what we do next. Tonight is going to be a real test. Obviously, I know a lot of people probably have this game written out, but for me, I kind of just want to see where we're at. We beat the Hawks, which I feel like is a better win than Lakers fans are giving us credit for. Like I said, they've been playing really good basketball, so we got a good win. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm locked in for tonight's win, but recent history, we've been doing good. Undefeated. What, in the DFS? Well, no, we lost Cleveland. That does. Well, I won't say it doesn't count as Cleveland. Cleveland is Cleveland. Yeah, they only lost 4 games, but yeah, I'm excited to see what we do tonight. Could be a good wrap up to the week for us.
Sorry, Earl. The Cleveland loss does not count, and Cleveland is, steamrolling the NBA. I'm not counting a loss to Cleveland, and that's all respect to Cleveland, by the way. Shout out Ohio. I mean, we got our GOAT contributor and co-host here, Mal from Ohio. I went to Michigan, so we're supposed to be rivals, but Cedar Rapids, or is that what the amusement park's called, Mal? I keep getting it wrong, but that place. Shout out Ohio, man. Cedar Point. Shout out all that, man. Cleveland, this is for you. And like, honestly, LeBron is my GOAT human being. I don't know what I just topped in the middle, by the way. I may be talking way off base now, but LeBron is my GOAT human being, not just basketball player. So if he's from Ohio, I'm from Ohio. Okay, I'm good. I'm riding with Ohio to the end. Shout out Ohio. Shout out Ohio State going to the semifinals. We hope you lose, though, because we do got some Michigan fans here. I'm a Georgia fan. Don't know what that has to do with the podcast. Let's get back on track. I'm here. I was handling business for the greater playoff LAL Playoff Sports Network, you could say community. I was on a Zoom call, a very important Zoom call with our good friend Chewy over at TS Kingdom on Playback and on all other socials. And we're working on some great things for the future. So I was over on that Zoom call with Caden, but I'm back. I'm ready to talk Lakers basketball. We got a game today against the Rockets, as Earl talked about. Hard game and a true test. I think the next game was Mavs too, which is also a hard game. But I very much agree with Earl, and I said agreed in the chat. Like, the Hawks game was a really good win for us. I don't view that as like a easy game for us whatsoever. So I think shout out the Hawks. I think they're better than people think, at least on any given like regular season game day. They're actually a good team. So Lakers took care of business. It was fun to stream it. And like I said, we'll be back tonight, but I'm ready to get into this. I just got to get some breakfast too. I got to eat some pancakes here on stream.
Yeah, for sure. As always, appreciate Jake for hopping in and joining us back.
Yeah. Like I said, at least for the last time we podcast, we did sweep the Sacramento Kings. We went to the new year playing versus the Cavs. We lost versus them. It was good until the Cavs, of course, took over in that one. We beat the Portland Trailblazers on January 2nd, 114-106. And, of course, as mentioned, we beat the Atlanta Hawks 119-102. And as mentioned as well, we'll be having a live stream for that Lakers versus Rockets game on here on Playoff LEL. If you haven't already, join in, of course, in the fun and the talks and everything. We always keep active for the chat, conversate, and just like I said, have fun, joke around, and criticize or even celebrate our Los Angeles Lakers. So, yeah, moving forward, like I said, sticking to that Hawks versus Lakers game. Let's, I think, mention LeBron James, and as mentioned, he got 30 plus point games, all time, one of the greatest, a legend, and at least for you, Earl. Like I said, we always have the conversation about LeBron James being the number one scorer, but it's like, is it just LeBron's taking over this lead in the past couple months or so, or it's just he's doing his role as, I say as a leader, but just like the guy right now? Like, is his role very diverse, you would say?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. And I think the thing about LeBron James, obviously in history, he's been articulated as the greatest passer of all time. But the thing about it is, like, LeBron is so dominant as a player, he had to develop his playmaking skills for when he did get double team and stuff like that, which he can still, we've seen obviously last night, he can finish the double teams, but it just makes him so much more of a dangerous player. And right now what we're just seeing like, I know we make the father time jokes, but it's actually insane. Like, if you go back and watch last night's games, like the quality of shots he was making are arguably some of the same shots he was making when he was a teenager. Like post fade turnarounds. We had him finishing on 2 or 3 Hawks. We're talking about like 22-year-old Jalen Johnson, who's in his peak athletic form. LeBron's jumping up and finishing through contact layups. Maybe not dunks, but he's still finishing. So for me, I think LeBron James, like, you just got to respect greatness. I know Jake just came on here, talked about how LeBron is his GOAT. He's mine too. Like, just watching him since I was a kid. Yeah, they call me Uncle on here, so I've been watching for a long time. Watching him since I was a kid to now, like, it's just insane, like, how he is still the best player on this team. Like, we talk about AD, we talk about Bron. Like, every night I know that LeBron James is going to go out there and give his best every single night, or he's just not going to play. Like, games where LeBron can't play, one is because he's probably not close to 100%. He tries to be when he can't play, or he just can't play at all. Like, he's just hurt. And this is no shade at AD. It just, they have to be compared because they're 1 and 2 on this team. But I know, like, LeBron James is going all out every time he touches that basketball. So what he's been doing for us is amazing. And shout out to the people who overreacted. Shout out to all the news outlets pushing your media agendas. Oh, LeBron, this is his last year. He has to retire now. He's not even hitting. He barely hit plus 10 points. All those media outlets sending those nasty articles for what? what was it, like 3 or 4 weeks straight when he had his bad weeks. Like, come on, bro. All of us real fans in the playoff LAL chat, we knew that LeBron, he was just in a slump. Like, it happens. LeBron has those moments, but when he comes out of it, it's dangerous. So we're talking about a 40-year-old man who's averaging 30 plus points a game. So that I am accounting just for the new year, obviously. But yeah, I think Bron's impact has been amazing for us. Shout out to him for passing Jordan. I know there's been a lot of numbers thrown out there. Hey, check the numbers before you start talking about Jordan did it in less and all this stuff. Go read the numbers up. But yeah, shout out to Bron.
Well, I'll tell you what the numbers say. LeBron has taken over 1,000 less shots than Mike. No offense to Mike, but weren't you a gambling addict and your son is a cocaine addict? I don't know if we're allowed to say that on here. I'm sorry. But I don't know if that's comparable to getting your son in the NBA like LeBron did and setting them up for success. LeBron is the best example of the American dream. He's my light. And Mal, I'm not going to be shamed into eating pancakes when I woke up at 10. So it's, it's only been a little over 2.5 hours of being up. All right. We're on West Coast time. I got the chocolate chip pancakes here. I got to have them. Anyway, back to regular scheduled programming.
Got some breaking news from Caden talking about for Underdog / NBA. You got Kyrie Irving is ruled out for Monday. A little side with that, the Lakers played the Mavericks on Tuesday, so I don't know at least the long-term effects of his injury, meaning he could possibly rest versus the Lakers, but who knows? Maybe that extra rest will allow him to play versus the Lakers. So, like I said, we've seen from the past, players get some rest until they see the Lakers name on that schedule. They say, hey, let me suit up for that game. So, hey, who knows?
There's no doubt in my mind that Kyrie Irving will be playing on Tuesday. This is the most obvious, let me rest up and have a career night that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what it is. It started off as a joke, yes. But every time I see, did y'all see the Hawks injury report? About all the Jalen Johnson was questionable, Trae Young was questionable, Bogdanovich, all of them questionable, just out of nowhere. It's like, okay,
no,
you know what? I'm playing the Lakers
for injury.
Oh, they're officially out now,
so
they're out now.
Well, wasn't it for yesterday? I thought it was yesterday.
No. It's the Clippers game today, I think, because they played the Clippers.
My fault.
So yeah, it's comical, man. I'm not surprised. It happens every single time. Yeah, so Kyrie will play on Tuesday. I don't think anybody should be worried about if he's playing or not. So just expect a really, really fun game. That's another key game for us. I feel like the Rockets game to me is a little bit more difficult. I think that's fair to say. They're just a young team. They match up really well. Like Şengün, Jalen Green, depending on how he's playing. We got the Terror Twins and Amon and Tari Eason. Like, they have a really deep team. And then Fred VanVleet, I didn't even mention him. Obviously, Jabari's hurt, but I don't think I'm not trying to say it doesn't change much, but I don't think that gives us like a clear head advantage as far as them being out, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think the Rockets is a harder game than the Mavs. I know people yesterday were saying they'd be worried if the Lakers played the Mavs in the playoffs. I disagree compared to some of the other teams, at least. Like, still to this day, we match up worse with Denver, clearly, than like a Mavs team. But I think, OKC also obviously way better than the Mavs. But I agree with what Earl said there with the Rockets. I also think just the injury thing, I don't know how many times we've said it on here. Oh, wait, y'all can't even see me. My camera was off for some reason. The injury thing, are we that like insecure though that we want like Kyrie Irving to be out? Like, if you really think about, our fan base has gotten so insecure that when people play basketball games that they're supposed to play, they get mad because Kyrie didn't play. Who are they playing today? I forgot. I don't know. It doesn't say. It says Monday. But Like, why do we need the players not to play? Like Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is a really good example because it just happened the other day. Like, why are we so insecure that we're mad that Bogdanovic played against us? He's a role player. He's a good player, but he's a role player. And then he didn't play the next game. Like, even if people, like when they play the Lakers, it's their game 7. That is a compliment to the history of your franchise being dominant, the amount of wins that you had, and the fact that you're still in the center of the basketball world and the media world. Like, these are compliments that people try harder against the Lakers, and you should still be able to win, because don't act like people didn't try harder against the Golden State Warriors especially when they were at 73 and 9 or whatever it was. Like, people tried so hard against the Warriors to ruin that season or to get revenge on them the next year or whatever the case would be. Like, it was game 7 every time. So when you're at the top, everything is game 7 every time. Honestly, I can make the argument that people have been trying really hard, besides the Lakers, people have been trying really hard against the Nuggets since the Nuggets won. Or if you played Celtics now, that people would try really hard. Like a Cavs team would treat that like a game 7. So this is supposed to be compliments. It's not something to complain about. And I think Lakers fans on X especially have really lost the plot about this, because you're not where you should be mentally feeling if you're that mad that Bogdanovic played against us and then didn't play against the Clippers. I just don't think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, for me personally, I'm not like an injury merchant. If we're gonna beat a team, like, what's the point of having a test if you're not? Okay, that's not what I want to say. If we're trying to really see what our team is about, why would you want the other team to be injured? Like, if you want to test the best of the best in the West, why would you want no Kyrie Irving and play against their role players, opposed to actually going out there and getting some good practice in? That's what the regular season is. Practicing for the playoffs, for obviously the top teams and stuff like that. But still, you kind of want to measure where you're at. Like, we got some solid wins in the last couple of weeks, but now we get a chance to play a Mavericks team. Now we get a chance to play a Rockets team, teams that are ahead of us in the standings. Like, why not get a challenge and get some good wins in, some quality wins? So for me, I'm not an injury merchant. I would love to see Kyrie play. And yeah, I want to get a good win. Like, Rockets game tonight, I know a lot of people, I said this earlier, I know people probably have it counted out as a loss, but I really do want to go into there. Just think of, I just want to go in there unbiased thinking and just, I don't want to use the word like feel like we have a chance, but just don't go into the game thinking that there's no way we win. Like, I just want to see where we're at, basically. I think we got some good wins, like I just said. I just want to see progress. Let's see what we did. See if we can get one of these top wins.
Sorry, Earl. In the chat, I would say you could have VIP, but there's no game on right now. Number one. Number two, it does seem that person literally left right after saying that. So I think they're scamming us for VIP. No offense.
Yeah. If you want VIP, stay for the game later on at 4 p.m. / 7 p.m. Eastern time if you're out there in the East Coast. So yeah.
You also, Alan, you have to stay for the game because there's only limited VIP. So if you just take it and run away, we got to reassign it. But that's neither here. That'll be figured out later.
Yes, that'll be figured out in a bit. Like I said, like for the Rockets right now, they're missing Jabari Smith for a game. I would like to see Jabari Smith. He's had some success versus the Lakers, and like I said, that's going to be a little dent in sort of this Lakers Rockets game. But we're facing very much a good team. Fred VanVleet is very much a capable starting point guard in the NBA. Jalen Green has gone some hype here and there. Şengün is arguably, I don't know, maybe top 5 international center in the NBA. I don't know where he ranks in the centers in today's NBA. Like, we could very much go into depth about that. But yeah, like the Rockets are a capable team. I believe they're second in the Western Conference with a record of 22-12, around 7 games behind the Thunder, and only near slash the same as OKC, and of course they're above us and Denver. So these head to that game. What are some keys, or at least what are some thoughts about this Rockets matchup?
Rebounding. We got to be on the glass. I feel like the Rockets, they got Şengün. Obviously, you did mention Jabari. I think one of the advantages for us tonight is less rebounding for them, particularly in that forward position. It depends. I think Amon Thompson might start, which could be a little bit of a problem defensively. But yeah, I think rebounding is going to be key for us. And let's just hit our shots. I feel like the last couple games, especially in Cleveland, we had a really good chance to not only take leads, but keep them if we just hit easy shots. I think that was the biggest thing I noticed throughout that game. Obviously, Cleveland, they were having an unreal game from 3 as well, but that's what they do. They're number 1 for a reason in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, I think for me, just starting off the conversation, I think a rebounding is going to be huge for us tonight.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll say I think I've come around to the fact this year we haven't played the Rockets yet, right? I don't think. So since we are now, I think I've come around to the fact that the Rockets might have like the most talented roster in the NBA. Now, that doesn't necessarily make sense in terms of winning championships, but that's not really what I'm referring to. It's the sheer amount of talent. I guess you could say young talent if you really want to be like that. I want to pull up their roster real fast right here on my trusted iPad. It's not working. Oh, Google's not working. But I kind of wanted to walk through the names here. You know what? I'll just do it on my phone. Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah, so like Alan mentioned, obviously, Şengün, Green. You know, we talked about Jabari Smith. Earl talked about Amen Thompson, Fred VanVleet. But then you got Reed Shepherd. These are guys we didn't mention. Reed Shepherd, Dylan Brooks, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, and it kind of goes on. Even the guy Jayshawn Tate was one of the best rookies in the NBA a few years ago. So they're stacked, dude. They're loaded. Like, I don't see – when I think about the Lakers, for example, like no Tari or no Jabari, as Caden mentioned, like tonight does change things for sure. Because I don't know how we would have guarded those guys, or even like Earl said, get rebounds over those guys. But they match up with the Lakers so well because you get a Dorian Finney-Smith on the Lakers, for example. And let's say you put him on like Jalen Green or maybe a man or something, or if he was in with the bench and it's like Cam Whitmore, something like that. You only have one Dorian Finney-Smith. But it's the Rockets team, funny enough, is a team where you would need like 6 Dorian Finney-Smiths to match up the right way. And that's something that, no team is really going to have. And that's why the Rockets have an explosive young You think we match up well, though, with the Rockets? Caden? I don't think we match up well with the Rockets. Bro, I don't know. Maybe that's a further debate. I feel like we match up horrible with the Rockets. But, I mean, at the same time, like, AD should cook. Green is ass. I think DFS is a difference. Bro, I don't know. We'll see. I think AD should cook Şengün, but historically, like, as we know, he struggled against centers like that. Mal likes to say centers with an accent mark, meaning European centers. So we'll see what happens with AD. But yeah, AD hypothetically should be able to like cook a Rockets team. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think the only thing we have to worry about for Jalen Green tonight is to make sure the magnet ball 3 doesn't go in. Like this season, he's having a career low. I mean, he's shooting 31% from 3. So if we can contain that average and kind of force him inside, I think we can have a better chance of win tonight. But that team, you are right. Like they're super deep. Like this is a team that has like Cam Whitmore, who doesn't even get to play. Reed Shepherd doesn't even get to play. but they're really good players. They can go on pretty much any team right now and be really decent role players. Like, that's how good those guys are. So Rockets, it's like they have the ultimate next man up mentality over there. No Tari Eason tonight, like you said, no Jabari Smith, but I'm sure Amon is going to get a lot of those minutes, and I'm sure that Cam Whitmore is finally going to get released tonight. And he's going to be a little bit upset because he hasn't got to play. So he could be in for a big game if he gets a lot of minutes tonight too. So it's just things to keep in mind. Like that team, they're really young. They play with a lot of energy, and that kind of worries me. We have times in our offense and our defense where we get stagnant. We like to slow things down. So hopefully we can match their pace. I think that's the biggest thing we have to focus on tonight as well. So I'm not worried, but it depends on how much effort the Lakers show tonight.
Well, that's the problem, though, because now we've seen a Lakers team for multiple years that the biggest key is what you just said. We don't match up well with young athletic teams who like to go and run on you. And then that's when you could see a game that you should be in, like it should be a close game, become a 20-point game quickly
Pistons.
when that other team is running. Pistons were a great example this year, Earl, but I would even say the last 3 to 4 years we've struggled, or at least since after 2021, we've really struggled with these types of teams. And I think that's what worries us here. Not that the Lakers don't have better vets. For example, like obviously the Lakers have way better vets than the Rockets, but they're so deep and they're hungry. And now it's their first year they took an OKC type jump into basically the top few seeds from being like kind of playing level, but like a young, fun team. So the Rockets are ready right now, man. And it'll be interesting to see how we look against a team like this. But I do think when you go to the playoffs and you play a Rockets, that's a series that the Lakers should win. And I would compare it a lot to the Memphis Grizzlies in 2023.
Yeah, definitely. I think I found all these stats about the Rockets team. These bring some familiarity out of this game. They're 15th in scoring offensively. They're not the best shooting team, but as you guys mentioned, they're number one in rebounding. Right there, they're not good in assists, but within their defense, they're arguably top 10. Opposition defense is 24, so they're very good. Like as Jake mentioned, a scrappy team relatable to that Memphis Grizzlies team that we played in the past. I think about like those matches we played previously under the Darvingham system. A lot of those problems were that the Rockets were making shots, but those times that we did win, we were scrappy and we just fought to the end. I think that's overall the narrative that we should think about this Lakers team, and that they have to fight to the end to beat this Rockets roster. Of course, we could outscore them. LeBron James could go off. Anthony Davis can go off. We see in the past where they did gain some momentum shots and very much carried us to a victory with our low-end roster from the past. But with our loaded roster now that we have today with DFS, Shake Milton, obviously Austin Reeves is playing at a great level. I think this is a team and also game in which, like I said, we could expect a blowout, but I think we could definitely win by 10 plus, similar to that Atlanta Hawks game.
Yeah, and also just to add in on that, like this is the first time we've seen Dillon Brooks and LeBron this year, which always is fun. Isn't that true? I mean, I'm sorry, am I saying this wrong? Have we played the Rockets? I feel like we haven't, right?
No, we haven't.
Oh, we haven't. Okay, so I'm right. Yeah. So Dillon Brooks, LeBron will be fun. It's always funny. I don't know. I think he's playing. I don't think Brooks is out tonight, so we'll see what that looks like. But, yeah, I'm excited, man. I would say as long as it's a competitive game, like I'm going to be happy. Of course, I always want to win, but you worry in this game that it feels like a Lakers versus Heat. Lakers Heat shouldn't have been that way, but when you look back on Lakers Heat from a few weeks ago, you do worry tonight. Like, I think it could go that direction. So we'll see, man. I still would want to see what, Dorian Finney-Smith looks like as a starter. I don't think we're there yet. I think we are getting closer to that for sure. I want to see if Shake Milton can kind of have a better game than the last few. I do really like Shake Milton. I've been saying that, but defensively, he's really struggled since coming to LA. He's just not a defender. So we'll see what he can do tonight. But yeah, I appreciate you pulling this up, Alan. Some of the last Lakers-Rockets matchups here. Go ahead.
See, like the couple of wins right there, like those 2 games in 2023 when they went 107-97, and also that game in November 19. Those were like scrappy wins. And then those games at Houston, the blowouts, those were of course AD or LeBron was missing, but at the same time the Rockets got hot and they got to at least a shooting rhythm, and they just outscored us from the first and second quarter, and then of course beyond it became a meltdown. So in order to get these similar 2 wins that the Lakers got back in November, December, like I said, they have to be scrappy as well.
Yeah, I agree. And like, not to put the pressure on a single player, but the person besides LeBron, AD, and Reeves who has the most responsibility tonight is Rui Hachimura. Because the reason I say that is they are a very aggressive rebounding team, especially on that offensive glass. Like, if he's on Amon Thompson at any point in the game, or any of their wings on that team, they are crashing the glass every possession. If Rui's just looking around, looking up and down, trying to figure out where everybody's at, then it's going to be a long night for us. And the thing I get mad, I don't want to use the word mad, but Rui frustrates me at times because you see him last night. He went up aggressive, got some crazy rebounds, like just aggressive rebounding. And it's like, dude, you can do this. Like, you're 6'9", you have the body for it. You're a wing, you have long arms. Like, for me, it's not about him not being able to do it. It's more so that he doesn't do it consistently. So I'm expecting Rui to have a bigger game tonight. I think he played good last game. I'm looking for back-to-back good games. And not really offensively, we know what he can do. I just want to see him step up on defense. Like, I seen him pin somebody off the glass. Like, I'm not saying you have to do that every time, but let's just act a little bit more composed on the defensive end. Opposed to looking like you don't know anything you're doing out there. Like 90% of the Rui plays I see on defense, he's pointing out LeBron like, oh, am I supposed to be up there? Or he's looking at the basket and somebody's wide open for 3 and everybody's pointing at Rui like, where are you going? So hopefully he's a little bit more assertive tonight, and he has to be boxing out and on that glass, or it's going to be a really, really long game for us.
Yeah, like I think he could be physical. He's a big body. I think he's, obviously got a great basketball frame. I think offensively he has a good basketball mind. I think defensively, Rui is one of the worst instinctual players that I've seen on the Lakers in the last years. Like, it doesn't make sense how many times he makes mistakes. And I think when you look at like his long-term security with the team, and I know a lot of reports came out that the Lakers like love him and all this, and I understand why, like offensively, his personality. But I think if you're really serious, you would either start Dorian and let Rui just be a bench scorer, or you maybe even trade Rui because of his salary, taking up a big amount, and try to get a two-way player to some degree. If we can, Alan, would you be able to pull up Earl's account? This is a little video I want to go over with you guys. It should be like 30 seconds. Quick little news segment.
You say whose account?
Earl's. If you can, but we can also fill the gap until then. Earl, any predictions for what I'm talking about?
Honestly, I have no idea. Not gonna lie to you. I don't tend to do a lot of posting, so this should be interesting.
Wait, let me check my phone and make sure we're going to the right place. But I think your account works. Let's see. What's your account called now again? Oh, okay. I got it. Never mind. I'm sorry. I got it. Yeah. We could go to Earl's account. Let's go to Earl's account. We got a cool little video to review with you guys.
I know what it is now.
You know what it is? You thought it was about you, and then you realize you're dealing with a real narcissist right here.
No, I was like, what is it? Then I
play the
clip. To replies.
Play the clip, Alan.
Right there in the retweets.
Play the clip.
Here we go, boys.
Full screen.
Wait, do we add a title or no? Because it was on YouTube. So
yeah.
Wait, what happened?
How do I do the audio? You want me to do it?
No. Or
We can't do the audio? Wait. I'm confused. Why does it look like this? Why can't we just pull it like the normal way off of Twitter?
I don't know why it's pulling out like that.
No.
Let me see. Let me try, Alan. Maybe I could share my screen. Hold on. I'll try. 1 second here. Sorry, folks. It's worth the watch. All right, guys.
You have me thinking, what did I post? That's hilarious.
Hopefully nothing pops up weird here with
Whoa.
Wait, who's this guy? Who's 6-Man Jake? I don't know that guy.
Wow.
Canceled NBA.
Wow. Everybody pour one for Reeves.
And that's it. How do I take this off? Remove.
I just want to say too, I think a lot of us here were big Reeves believers and supporters, but all the people who said that he was worse than D'Lo, come on, bro.
Oh my God. My God. Don't get me started. Don't get me.
Come on, bro. Those conversations used to make me mad.
Oh my God. The D'Lo fans. They thought D'Lo was better than Austin Reeves.
I'm sorry to say this. I don't want to call anybody out, but I have to. Shout out to King. He's one of our bigger supporters in the chat. But me and King used to go head to head, bar for bar for this. And he tried to convince me that D'Angelo Russell was a more impactful player than Austin Reeves. It's just not true. Reeves does everything better, but 3-point shooting at times, statistically, I'll say. Reeves is a better playmaker, better defender, better rebounder, better decision maker. I even say better scorer. So everybody out there who was Team D'Lo, man, get packed up and have fun in Brooklyn. No offense.
I mean, this motherfucker Reeves. No, I shouldn't use that language. Reeves might be a better consistent shooter than D'Lo.
Facts.
For us, he was. Okay, maybe
Facts.
not all of D'Lo's career. I understand that. Mal's right. He's scrappy. He's sneaky athletic. He's the type of guy you would want to date your daughter. Of course, this. And you know what? Frankly, as a guy who drives a Ford F-150, I see a lot of myself in Austin Reeves. Okay, Morgan Wallen, Austin Reeves. I'm in those conversations, bro. And like, say what you will, this is a kid from Arkansas living the dream, hanging out with LeBron James and AD every day. All right. Shout out Austin Reeves. I just wanted to show that edit. I did not want to show it to plug my account, but I did post it, so I knew it was there. I saw it on TikTok. Great edit. Austin Reeves times Morgan Wallen. And now we can continue again with regular scheduled program.
Love you, commercial break.
Yeah, if you're any other DMCA or anything, check out that video. We support Morgan Waller. Keep that video, please. We're back in. No DMCA, no copyright. We cool with Austin Reeves. We cool with Morgan Waller. Yeah, W them. Moving forward, at least for you guys, any more topics before we get into some quick news about Walker Kessler?
Let's hop into that Walker Kessler.
Yeah, I'm good with that too, man. Yeah. I think it may be coming from Clutch23 on X, dare I say.
Yes. He's per Dan Wilkie. He's from his latest article. He's brought some assumptions about some talks, and he's from him. He says Walker Kessler is not likely to be available, and also the Lakers are not looking to a backup center due to his DFS trades. I don't know if you guys could pull off the tweet or something while I look at least try to find it.
Yeah, I could go ahead. I'm going to show Mark's account, but I will say when I pulled up that video a second ago, Alan, my computer was crashing, and I'm notorious for having computer issues on this channel here, but I'll try. I started hearing some noises that you shouldn't be hearing from the computer. But I will say also, Mal, our great friend, Malpractice Mal, he is a big Jonas Valanciunas supporter. So he must be feeling really good right now. He's not Team Walker Kessler. Where's Mark's Twitter? Is it NBA fan? There it is. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Are y'all there? You can see this? Okay, bet. So I swear he posted it. Right? Or did I make that up? Oh, it would be like this. So first, it was the Lakers' goal seems to be finding a perimeter player instead of a paint player. Here's a screenshot from Dan Woik article, who I trust, LA Times. The Lakers have expressed interest, obviously, in Walker Kessler. The belief is he's not available in any realistic trade scenarios. Utah wants to keep him, which I do understand. And then, now they're looking for shooting and athleticism on the perimeter and a player who can operate off the ball. So who knows what that means? But yeah, it seems like that's where we're at. What's the rest of the news with that, Alan?
Yeah, before that news, like, could we see maybe a Rui Hachimura being traded? Like, does that bring any, not like bad news, but like thoughts about Vanderbilt not really being healthy if they're looking for athleticism and they're looking for shooters in the perimeter? So, like, does that sort of bring some bad news to Rui? Like, could we say Gabe Vincent? Of course, he's injured, but like, are those two guys and also even Jared Vanderbilt? Does that bring some negative news or he's in negative clouds towards this roster and how they're looking at those three potential players and of course their fit and also long-term health, you can say?
What do you think, Earl?
Vando, I don't know, man. Vando's like a painting right now, bro. Like it's you put it on your wall, you admire it, you look at the clips, and you see what he used to be. But he's just capturing this image that we all remember, but we can't do anything with it. So I don't know if we trade Vando. I'm not sure. I mean, I did see those reports about them wanting to kind of wait around to see what a Vando and Gabe Vincent lineup looks like in the future, which I don't know how far in the distant future we have to wait to get to that point. But I don't know. I just want to say this too about the Walker Kessler. I don't know. It never like hit me like, hey, we're going to get Walker Kessler. And not saying that we just absolutely can't still, because you never know. I just felt like it was kind of more of a more expensive asset to go after just because of the way the Jazz hold him in value wise. So I think, shout out to Mal in the chat, I think it's time for us to go ahead and maybe, make that call, get Valanciunas. I mean, I still think having another big body bruiser on the team could help them. Especially playing behind Anthony Davis. I mean, Jackson Hayes is not that special. Like, and I don't want to be a hater. I really don't. But he's just didn't he have like how many rebounds did he have last night? That can probably solidify my point. Or the night before. I think Jonas Valanciunas is the answer, bro. I think he can outperform Jackson Hayes in any way imaginable on the court. I don't think it's close. He's miles ahead of him. He's miles ahead of Koloko. And if that's the case and it doesn't cost us as much to get him, go get him.
He had one rebound.
Oh my God. Exactly.
One
exactly
rebound in 11 minutes.
How many minutes did he play?
11.
One rebound in 11 minutes, bro. Just saying. Valanciunas would have got me at least 10.
I still want
at least 8.
I want Miles Turner, like shout out Caden in the chat.
Same.
But it's hard to think about Miles Turner when there's been now multiple years of reports of like him potentially being traded and he never was. And we don't really know what the Pacers are up to, frankly. So I wouldn't count on Miles Turner. I think we all agree we need a center, but I think we also all agree that we're probably 2 pieces away. And I do think they're on the mark in those articles, or maybe how the Lakers feel about that other piece, which would be kind of an athletic guard or wing who can guard guards, I would say. Just add more defense in there. Obviously, everyone in the NBA wants two-way players, but If you can figure out another one, you got Dorian, figure out another one, maybe more of a true guard this time. They can take Gabe's spot. It works. Now, again, Reem, I don't know if part of it is trolling or not in the chat, because obviously like DeAndre Hunter would be great, but I always go back to like the Hawks have our pick this year. So I just don't see any world where, the Lakers and Hawks can agree to any sort of trade this year.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll say this about like the Pacers. It's not like the Pacers are like a horrible team right now. They're like 3.5, maybe 4 games back from the 4th seed. Same with the Hawks. So I don't see them as like true sellers just yet. Maybe a little bit closer to the deadline. I know we're like less than a month or something like that away. I don't know. I just don't see teams like that willing to give up pieces just yet, like early on. Only teams really, I mean, our best bet for real is the 2 worst teams in the Eastern Conference as far as centers, the Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards, which would be Nick Richards or Jonas Valanciunas. Like those are probably the more realistic center options we can get right now. Looking in the West, I mean, Jazz aren't really trying to move anything. Portland, I feel like they're just, I don't know. Portland's just, I don't know how to describe them as a team. I really don't. They actually don't want to sell anything, but they're not good either. So not sure there. But yeah, I think the West is all scrambled up too. So it's hard to tell who's selling besides those really bottom teams. So realistically, it's probably between Nick Richards and Jonas Valanciunas, if I had to guess.
And I think people have gotten away from Nick Richards, and I don't think they should. I think he makes a lot of sense as a backup center, but I also think trade-wise, like the Hornets would do that. The Hornets may be interested in taking a look at JHS, whose contract can help match there. Maybe you have to give Christian Wood or something too, or Hayes, but it would, we wouldn't care. And then we could swing the Hornets like 2 second-rounders or something like that in that deal. And I think people have gotten away from that. So it's like kind of like the Walker Kessler deal salary-wise, but then without first-round picks. But I will say I know a lot of fans will be disappointed if the Lakers don't trade any first-round picks. The only argument against that, because I would want them to trade first if it makes sense, but if there's no players you can get where it makes sense, then like you may as well not. You can't just trade first just to do it. You can't just give the Blazers 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant for no reason. Like if you could give a first for Walker Kessler, yeah, you do it. But if the Jazz don't want to come to the table, like there's nothing you can do there. I just think when I commented on Instagram after Dorian Finney-Smith was announced, I was on my literally my personal Instagram on one of those posts. I never do this. I commented on the post from the Lakers. I said, if we get Walker Kessler, we may actually have a chance at the championship. I was being over dramatic for sure and like baiting. Of course, like that would be great to get him. But people in the chat, like shout out Instagram ball knowledge because it doesn't make any sense. Like they were like, yeah, why would the Jazz, like Danny Ainge would never help the Lakers. And I'm like, we wanted Pat Bev, so he took Talen Horton-Tucker, who was on a big contract. We wanted to get off Russell Westbrook, so he gave us Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and helped facilitate the deal for D'Lo for 1 pick for Russell Westbrook. I don't see the world where Danny Ainge didn't help the Lakers here. If anything, it looks like the opposite because we actually have more history with the Jazz recently than most teams. But the team we have the most history with still in the last years, I think we would all say is the Wizards. And the Jonas Valanciunas trade still makes a lot of sense. And I still think, especially after the Finney trade, that it would be Gabe Vincent and like 1 or 2 seconds for Jonas. And I think that works. But then you do, like, even though I'm not a huge D'Lo or Gabe fan, at this point, it's like you are going to need to figure out a way to get, one usable like point guard type player in there who can initiate the offense and hopefully also play defense, like at least a mix of Gabe and D'Lo. And I don't know how you do that with the Wizards if we like don't want Brogdon, for example, because that would be kind of the one guy who fits with them. It almost seems like at that point, if you trade for Jonas, you definitely need another move because it has to be Gabe that matches Jonas's salary. So that means that you, like I said, you're not going to have a point guard. So you got to swing something else. And even if you go after and get like Colin Sexton, well, Sexton's not the best defender. So I don't know if you just accomplished your goal with that third piece there. So it'll be hard, but ideally you need like a two-way kind of shooting guard, you could say, who could guard guards, plus either Jonas or Kessler or whatever. But I think, yeah, as we get, like Reem said in the chat, as we get closer to that being the reality, like Bruce Brown makes a lot more sense. The thing is like with Bruce Brown, I think we can get him, and I think the Raptors would be interested in Rui, but then that's kind of another like swing move there where it's like, damn, well, we just gave up a starter, whatever you think of Rui, for Bruce Brown, and it's like, are you making the other right move at that point? Because the Raptors probably aren't going to give us Boucher. So it kind of feels like two very separate things that we need to be going for here.
Yeah, and sort of least right now is the ones that are selling. Most of the available players are centers. Like when I look at these couple of names, there isn't that many available 3-and-D guards in which they're reportedly looking for per Dan Wilkie. Like I said, Bruce Brown. Trying to think of what was Colin Sexton. If the Lakers were somehow to get him within that Walker Kessler trade, which we talked about before, the center market is the market for the Lakers right now. And it's available for them if they want to pursue it. So I should be aggressive. But when it comes to that 3-and-D guard market, it's not available. Like 3-and-Ds are, I'm not gonna say they're like a commodity or a hard thing to find, but to get those 3-and-D players, you have to go through the draft. And the Lakers right now, if they want to be aggressive and want to win now, the draft is not an option as of right now, in my opinion. And if you want to find a valuable center or a center who can back up AD or play alongside Anthony Davis, you have to go for it right now because they missed out on it on this year's. Like I said, was it Khalil Ware? Like Khalil Ware would have been perfect. Derek Lively in the past would have been perfect, but the Lakers are out of those two markets now. So get a center now, or you may pay in the future, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially when you go to the playoffs and you just are sitting on Jackson Hayes and maybe Christian Wood if he comes back. I know a lot of us on this, wanted Ware, like you said, in the summer. I think with the Heat taking him earlier than our pick, and like even Edey was gone if you wanted to go that route, I do feel like Connect made a lot of sense, but he doesn't really fill like a hole you need for the playoffs in one way, right? And for example, like a Devin Carter, who was also picked before us, I don't think he was going to make it to the Lakers pick, and I know he got injured too, but it's almost like that's someone who you would maybe trust in the playoffs, being like a 3-and-D guard there, like really good defender. So yes, you didn't fill it with the draft, and yes, we don't have a pick this year, but there's got to be some names out there. This is how I look at it, that we're not thinking about. Because Rui, for example, when we traded with the Wizards for Rui 2 years ago, like that was not a name that was out there and definitely not connected to the Lakers. So I don't see why other names can't pop up that we're not even talking about and that team decides to get off them. Like not every name that's in reports, that's not like the entire list of people who could be traded. Like the Pacers could randomly decide they want to trade Aaron Nesmith or something. And I don't know if that's the best example, but there's a ton of other people who fit that description. I do still think, though, that getting a center is easiest, especially with all the names we've talked about. Like, I don't think it'd be hard. I think it's much harder to get Dorian Finney-Smith with how valuable 3-and-D wings are than getting a center. But I also can understand why Rob would wait all the way to the deadline at this point, because you only have one or two other moves you can make. And he probably is going for a Kessler level center. So if that doesn't work out, then maybe you switch to Richards or Valanciunas later. But doing that now doesn't really make a lot of sense, because then what if the Jazz changed their mind and did trade Kessler in early February? So there is only a month, and I know we're not normally patient as Lakers fans, but you really should be patient, because they already did a good job with Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton trade and getting off D'Lo. You should have some trust that, like, we have to wait and see what type of moves are there in February when most of the people get traded.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, honestly, right now we have like the for sure level guys as far as Nick Richards and Jonas Valanciunas. But you are right. There has to be something else out there that we may not be picking up on, because we don't know whether a team may be selling or not, or looking to upgrade in different areas. So I agree with that. I think it's going to be up to Rob Pelinka. I'm also not mad that he's waiting a little bit longer. I mean, he made a really decent move for us that's turned out to work well so far. I mean, we've won 2 good games this week. We lost 1, but it was Cleveland, of course, number 1 team in the NBA, only lost 4 games. So it's kind of hard to measure against that. But yeah, I think Rob is doing good right now. He's keeping it steady. I would hate for him to rush into something dumb, so I'm down for it. If we only have 1 or 2 more moves to make, take your time with it. So I'm cool with that.
Indeed. And of course, like I mentioned, this will be sort of a shorter pod. As mentioned, I believe we'll have some spaces on Twitter. I don't know particularly who will be hosted by. You guys can fill in that. But yeah, like I said, for the Lakers, you guys have more news before getting to our tier lists. And then, of course, we'll end the pod with hot takes.
Yeah, more news. I will say on your space topic, like, it's very likely going to be hosted by Mark, which his, at on Twitter is, I mean, he's got one of the bigger Lakers accounts, I would say. I'm trying to find the exact at. I'll put it in the chat here. It's at clutch _23. His name is NBA fan. We're going to be doing we're starting to do more spaces over there. Oh, thank you, Earl. That is better. We're going to do more spaces before games, at least. After games, it's hard when they're very late, especially with people on the East Coast. So we're going to try to do it that way for now. We'll see how that goes. Get some more people over back here to play back. So, yeah, as Alan said, it's a shorter pod. It is Sunday, which typically means that NBA games are earlier. And that's actually not something we've seen with the Lakers recently, because we've been doing the podcast later. But the Lakers game is now in 2.5 hours already. I guess other news, shout out Caden in the chat for dropping that in there. The odds for Jimmy Butler's next team. I thought I saw that the Grizzlies were leading by far on one site right there. It does say plus 1,000 for Grizzlies, but the Lakers are plus 800 and the Rockets are the favorite at plus 250. So I think we're looking Rockets, Mavs, Grizzlies as the most likely teams. Warriors may be in that conversation too, but Jimmy could get traded in the next day or two because of everything that's happened. Like, yes, they could wait until the trade deadline, but I just don't even know if that actually makes sense with how bad it seems like it's going over there. So expect a Jimmy Butler trade soon, and not the Lakers. If Rob did this, it would be so reminiscent, in my opinion, of Westbrook. Now, I know Jimmy's better and it's not as much of a problem, but it's so reminiscent with trading for an aging star making like max money. I just don't think it makes any sense. And if Rob was sitting, like, we all know Rob clearly regretted the Westbrook move, because as long as it took to get off him, he literally gave up a first to get off him. So there's no one in the world who would like go that route and then go back this route. So for any Laker fan who wants Jimmy Butler, like, we're not getting Jimmy Butler, but you should be happy about that, even if he's a good player. It just doesn't make sense for our organization right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jimmy Butler just doesn't make sense, but that would be a tough morning to wake up to if I seen Rob traded for Jimmy Butler. I don't know. That would kind of rub me the wrong way.
I think also like.
Oh, sorry. The only other thing, Alan, was if Rob does that and gave up Austin Reeves, bro, I might actually give up on the Lakers. Like, that would be the worst thing in the world. Imagine like Austin and Max and Rui are in that trade. That would be actual hell.
He's also like, I don't feel like he's a complimentary piece towards AD and LeBron. Like, I feel like he's a guy who needs the ball. Like, he could be a guy who LeBron James says, "Hey, Jimmy Butler, take over these games here and there." But I'm not gonna say like we've seen it with the past with Westbrook, but it's just like I don't know if that fully works with LeBron James as the moment. Like his complementary pieces should be 3-and-D wings, a good center, and also a point guard who, like Austin Reeves, be a multi-dimensional guy. So it's just I don't know about Jimmy Butler would fit under the system that we're trying to build. Yeah, and also, at least I kind of throw out a question. Of course, it's not sort of Lakers related, but if you guys were Pat Riley or at least a Miami Heat organization, like, would you rather have at least Desmond Bane or at least Marcus Smart, or like from the Kings, let's say they are interested, like DeMar DeRozan, maybe like Kevin Huerter. Like, I think their potential of DeMar DeRozan could go to Miami in return for Jimmy Butler. Like, looking at salaries.
Yeah, but like, what type of move is that for the Kings? Like, yes, Jimmy fits a little better than DeMar, but you just signed DeMar and made this big deal about how great you are for getting DeMar. Then you fired your coach, and now you're going to trade DeMar right away for Jimmy Butler, who's 35 years old. Like, the Kings are, whether they do it or not, I do think they're one of the dumbest organizations in like the history of this sport. Like, I don't think they actually make sense. Like, ever. And of course, like, they were good in that Chris Webber era. Shout out Michigan alumni Chris Webber, like myself. Also, shout out Michigan alumni Robert Pelinka, who was at the USC Michigan game last night. Always working. Lakers do not own a pick this year, but he is always working at the Michigan USC game. So, yeah, I mean, sorry, to go back to your question, it just doesn't make sense. And if I'm the Heat, I kind of feel like we could be a decent playoff team if we get Bane and Smart. In fact, I would argue that Bane and Smart is an upgrade over Jimmy Butler, especially with the way that the Heat use players. I feel like they would get a lot out of Bane and Smart, even, Smart being a vet for sure at this point. I don't think the Heat will be contenders or anything like that, and I do think they're delusional. They're very delusional, that team. They think they're like always going to make the finals, and they don't put together a roster. But I do think like Hero, Bam, Smart, Bane, and then whatever else they got, I think they could find something that makes them like a hard out in the playoffs there. So I would do that. I would trade with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I would probably take the Grizzlies package, especially because Desmond Bane is still a little bit more on the younger side as well. And him plus Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo, I think that could be a nice little younger core. Obviously, they'll still need another piece to go along with it, but yeah, I like that idea a little bit more than adding DeMar DeRozan. I don't think that makes any sense for them. I'm excited for the tier list, baby. My favorite part of the show. Let's get it.
I don't know if Windhorse is always credible. Like, he is in a way. He does hear things. But I will say, like, the Evan Sidery guy, since we're on here still, is the least credible person I've ever seen in my life. Like, it reminds me, and I would know because I ran an account called Six Man Jake where I would make up rumors and shit and like kind of play in the fantasy land, to be honest. And this guy, Evan Sidery or Sittery, literally does not ever report anything. He'll wait for the Shams news about like 5 potential targets for Jimmy Butler and then tweet it. He never, and it says that he's like a reporter for Forbes magazine, which is a big deal. So I don't understand that guy at all. He's never actually had any NBA news, but that's neither here nor there. He may just be a 6-man Jake type fellow. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, move on to our tier list. As for this week, it's S, A, B, C, D, injured, South Bay Lakers, and terrible. We can revise to our Adilo or Gabe Vincent tier if needed. So the bomb players is Rui, Cam, Austin, of course, head coach JJ Redick, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Jackson Hayes, Max Christie, Christian Coloco, Dalton, Connect, and our 2 newly added players, Shake Milton and Dorian Finney-Smith. And as mentioned, injured is Vando, Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent, South Bay Lakers, Bronny, Quincy Oliveira, JHS, and Amel Traore. So whoever wants to start,
well, I had a funny moment the other day when you brought up Amel Traore. So I was on X and on one of my accounts posted like rate the Lakers young core, and I put a bunch of them, and I included like Bronny and Quincy in it. And I didn't put Amel Traore, and I got a comment, where is Amel? Just where is Amel? So I'm like, frankly, but so I was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, he's in the G League mostly, and they're like, but you put the other 2-way players. And I was like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I'm like, are you cousins with Amel or something? And the person was like, no, I'm just French, LOL. And I was like, oh, okay, that explains that. Shout out Amel Traore. And also, Alan, I love how you put the 2 pictures of the signing because they don't have headshots with the Lakers since they joined.
Yeah, they weren't available. I trust it.
Yeah, they don't have any. So you're not wrong.
They are there, but they're them in Nets gear. So
in Nets, yeah. I mean, with the Lakers, yeah. So the only other thing, I don't even like the word terrible. I think we should switch that to D'Lo if you guys are cool with it. Just to preserve his legacy a little bit here, right?
The D'Lo tier, the most coveted tier of all.
So I'll start off. I can't even see a lot of the people. Let's do the coach first this time. JJ Redick. Hey, I think JJ, I'm starting off strong. I think JJ deals with a lot of bullshit with the roster construction, especially before Dorian Finney-Smith trade. But then I think he gets us wins, I think, that Darvin Ham wouldn't get, in my opinion. Like, there's a few of these games that I think we would have lost with last year's rotations, you could say. I understand giving him like a B, and I'm, you know, especially with JJ, I'm always willing to compromise with you guys a ton. So I don't know what you guys think, but
yeah, I'm cool with A too. I think especially with the new additions to our team, a lot of people will complain about Dorian Finney-Smith not getting maxed out minutes, but I think he's done a good job of introducing them into different lineups. So for that and prioritizing us winning first, he's done a good job so far. So we're 2-1 on the week, 1 more game to go. He's done good. So I think A is fair.
Yeah, I very much agree. I sort of like Earl mentioned, I'm sort of have some hesitancy on those DFS minutes. He played 23 minutes versus Atlanta, 24 versus the Trailblazers, and of course 20 minutes. But like there's some instances within those minutes where he could be in certain lineups better in a sense. So, but yeah, I very much agree. JJ Redick will be A.
Yeah, I guess I will go next. You know what? Since we're starting on the A tiers and things of that nature, let's go ahead and go up to Super. I'm going to go ahead and take my boy Austin Reeves. Now, Austin Reeves has had an amazing week once again. I mean, I know there was that joke about baby Luka, but I mean, Austin Reeves is like one sneeze away every game from having a triple-double. First game versus Cleveland, he had 35, 10, and 9. Then versus Portland, he had 15, 11, and 8. And then versus the Hawks, he had 26 and 7. Austin Reeves, and not even counting defense, I'm sure he had probably like a steal or something here or there. He's been amazing for us. His production on offense and defense. We talked about before, he's not the best defender, but he shows effort every single play he's out there. So for that reason, I don't think he got worse than he was last week. So I think I might have to keep him towards that S tier this week with another game tonight, which you can probably, even have a better game tonight, hopefully versus the Rockets.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think if we were Celtics fans doing this the same way, it's kind of like putting Derek White on the S tier. Like maybe he's not as much of a star as Brown or like Tatum, but for this team, like Austin has been S recently. I know last time we did this, he was. This time, same deal, obviously. So I agree with you a lot. I don't see. I think A would be disrespectful. That's how good I think he's been recently.
I agree with that, bro. Because it's like a world where there's no deal anymore. Like he was already kind of carrying the weight of both, but now with him gone, he's like taking another jump up too. So, and we're talking about like his assist numbers could be a lot higher, especially in that Cleveland game. It could have been a 15 plus assist game, but nobody was hitting shots that game. So, yeah, I give him that too. Your turn, Alan.
I do want to start off with one of the new guys, Dorian Finney-Smith. I got him at C. I think that there's obviously more to improve, but we've seen his impact. His closeouts are quick. He's there defensively. He's been active, getting some steals here and there, but getting some blocks. A guy who's going to be important within a rotation. Like I really see him as part of that 9-man rotation and playing those closing minutes for LeBron James and AD. So right now I got him for C. Like I said, he's still developing. Like I said, he got 8 points in the last game. Shot 2 for 5, 2 for 3 from 3, 5 rebounds. Versus the Blazers, 3 points, 1 for 6 for rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Like I said, not a great shooting night versus Portland, but I mean his impact both on the floor is just great to see. So C, but I imagine he could be B and beyond in the future.
Well, I was thinking, I like how you put him at C this week. And when we said with JJ, like he's getting integrated into this offense by JJ. They need to figure out exactly what he's going to do night to night, but the defense translates, the rebounding, the hustling translates. I would argue that I don't think I'm ever going to put him below B personally, but after this week. So like I'm with you, but like how you said B in the future, if his defense and effort and rebounding keeps up, I feel like he's always going to be at least B for me. The way he plays, I think he plays the right way. And I think he's vital to this team, even though he just got here. But until we figure out exactly why, I think that's why he would go in like a C, which would be almost like average, if that makes sense.
Could you hear Earl, Jake?
Oh, my bad. I was muted.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear you the whole time.
I was like, I wasn't sure.
My bad. Yeah, I was saying, I think we're all pretty much saying like this is like his absolute floor, Dorian Finney-Smith. This is the worst he's gonna play, and it's not even bad. So I think C is the perfect spot to put him. Going into like these next couple weeks, I kind of agree with Jake. I think moving forward, he's gonna be a constant B. Probably won't be out of B unless he just plays absolutely terrible defense, which I don't see him doing. And I think he'll get more comfortable with scoring. As you seen last game, like he was kind of getting to his spots a little bit better. His shot was looking nice. So as Braun gets more comfortable with guys, you're going to get more looks in some of those rotations. So I can definitely see him hitting double figures pretty consistently on the offensive end if he gets a look. So I'll go C for now. Yeah, I think it's Jake's turn.
Yeah, I forgot to go also. My bad. Cam Reddish, C. I can't put you over Finney-Smith. I don't think you did anything that wrong. I think he's had a minutes decrease, clearly. I think he's still good at defense. I think his shooting to start the year was kind of fake, and he was stepping up into a bigger role. Well, it worked out, which I'm happy about, but I don't know. You could argue D. But at the same time, like, I don't think he did anything wrong. I just think it's kind of that's what happens when you get Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Reddish is kind of like a reserve, if that makes sense, like behind the bench unit. And, he'll still play a little, but it kind of just is what it is. For example, if Vando came back, like, you would have to think Reddish almost goes to like an NA tier, because I just don't think we're going to be seeing him a lot. If Vando was there, even if Wood was there in another way, and it gets more, busy here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Cam Reddish, he is what he is. He's a defender, and when we need him, he checks in and he does his job. So I think C is fair. We talked about it before. The only way for him to really move up is to, hit that double figure mark in points alongside his defense. So yeah, I agree. But moving, oh no, Alan, what's your thought? Sorry.
The same, pretty much.
Okay, I bet. I think that I'm going to take. Who do I want to take here? It's a tough one for me. You know what? I think that I'm going to take the rookie. Let's go Dalton Connect. Ah, man. Dalton Connect. He used to be like a really good, he used to be at the top. Remember the days we were like, oh, he's top AB range. How the mighty have fallen. I think Dalton Connect has to be in D range for me. Like, I get he had a double figure point game. I think it was 13. That might have been versus the Hawks. But other than that, I mean, it was 6 points in 17 minutes. Game before that was 4 points, 1 assist, and 3 rebounds. And the thing about Dalton Connect, if he's not hitting that 20 plus points, he's not going to move higher because he's a horrible defender. Like, we knew going into this, Dalton Connect was a great offensive talent. He was very athletic, and if he's not scoring like high, like 15 plus, 20 plus point range, then it's going to be really hard for him to climb this list unless he takes a huge defensive jump this offseason, which is kind of unrealistic, I feel like, but you never know. So for me, I think he still has to be D because I don't think it was anywhere near impactful. I mean, even of Cam Reddish, if I'm being honest. Cam Reddish had some good defensive plays for us these last couple of days.
Yeah, and it's like, I love him still. I love someone who can shoot to that extreme like he can. And I don't know if he'll get better at defense, but I do have a feeling that he'll be over 15 point per game average guy in the NBA. Maybe as soon as next year if he had the right role. We'll have to see. Maybe it'll be on another team in a few years. But if we had 3 games that week, what is happening in the chat? No, I'm confused. I'm confused about that one, like Captain America. Yeah, I think if we had 3 games that week and he averaged 20, I think he'd be in like B. And I think that's fair. And that's kind of where we're at. So we got breaking news with Fox Sports and Skip Bayless. We won't read the rest out loud. Even I'm kind of like, we'll talk about that another time, I think. We got to stay on topic with the Lakers here. I'll say that. But yeah, I agree with Earl that Dalton Connect is D. Alan, you could put him there when you get back. And obviously it's Alan's turn to go here.
Sorry, Brandon went out for a bit. For the rankings? Who is where?
Oh, it was Dalton Connect at D.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
I think we'll go with Jackson Hayes right now. He's also, in my opinion, on the D category and below Dalton. Plain and simple. Maybe we put a deal. We'll put in a D-Lo tier because.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Goofy, man. Yeah, D-Lo tier is perfect for that, man.
I thought you were going to Jackson Hayes because of the message in the chat, which makes a lot of sense. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Some scandal over there. I will say I think
I was saving the better names for later on for you guys.
We'll save them for later. I'll take one of the better names. Give me Max Christie. This dude's been hooping recently, bro. I don't know. I forgot what he was doing like the last week. I don't know if you guys remember where we put him the last time we did this. Probably B or A. Was it A?
Was it A, Allen? I think it was A.
But his biggest game was this week, right?
I think because last week he was consistently averaging 16.
Oh, okay. You're right. So this week he had 5, 9, and 28. So that makes it harder. Like when he had 5, he was 2 for 6, which isn't horrible. And then when he had 9, he was 3 for 4. That's the other thing is we can't grade it all like he's putting up 16 shots like he did versus Portland, for example. I think that does make it harder. I think B or A makes sense. I still think he's a great defender. Obviously, he dropped his career high within this week, so I could see going A. I do think maybe he was actually a little worse this week, even with the 28-point game, than last week. But I'll have to open it up to you guys. I'm thinking either below JJ and A or, top of B.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I mean, career high in points. But then, like, even the other games where he didn't score a lot, I feel like his defense was definitely there. Because I don't feel like he had a bad game last game. I think he was pretty much playing good versus Atlanta. He had that tough and one drive. I think it was on. I forget who it was on. I can't remember. He had that 3 in the corner, and I think he hit another one from the same spot as well, like a pivotal shot after shot. So I think I might stick A. Like if I round out the numbers a little bit, maybe it comes around a little average. But it's either A or B plus. I'm down for whichever one. I just don't think he played significantly worse than he did last week. He just happened to have a really, really great game and then some pretty below average offensive games throughout the week. Well, one really below average. Other one, I feel like he didn't shoot a lot. So yeah.
I think I could go like A minus. Like I said, he could be top of B, but I think it'd be A minus. He had a bad game versus Cleveland. Only 5 points, 1 for 5 from 3, only 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal. As mentioned, that Portland game, 28 points, had a career high in shooting, 5 for 9. And versus Atlanta, it was decent, 9 points. He did get into foul trouble with 4 fouls, but he was active on the other parts of the floor. So he's at top of A for me. I'm not top of A, bottom of A, excuse me. So yeah, he can go either way, but I think Max has deserved to be within the A conversation.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool with me. Let's clear out some more of these new guy. Well, new guy. Sorry, no point of putting an S at the end of that. Let's go Shake and Bake. I think Shake and Bake. He's been all right. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Obviously, he's still kind of figuring out what his role is. I think he probably has the most unsure role so far on this team, just because we don't really know what he's going to be for us. I feel like until Gabe gets back, until you make decisions about keeping him or trading him, and who's coming along in a trade like that. So for me, I think I'll keep it around the C range behind Cam Reddish. I don't think he did anything like bad. I know first game he hit those 2 threes, which was kind of big for us, even though we ended up losing. He came off the bench. He had a nice little fadeaway last game. I know it doesn't sound anything too exciting, but I don't think he did anything terribly bad, except for his defense definitely is a little bit questionable. I will admit that. But I just need more time with him. I think he played 13 minutes. Then he played 21 game. And then the first game versus Cleveland, he ended up playing 10. So I just need to see a little bit more sample size. But we'll see.
Wait, I'm sorry. So we're saying top of C?
No. I wasn't saying top of C. I was just saying C minus range, bottom of C probably.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was looking at Dorian. Okay. Yeah. Not much to say, to be honest, for me, but I definitely agree with what Earl said. So I'm going to say bottom of C too. I like him a lot, by the way. That wasn't like me trying to be like that. I do like him a lot. I think he's awesome. We'll see. We will see what happens. Obviously, he's worse than Dorian.
Yeah, I feel like his best fit would be sort of in that Dennis Schroeder role without the defense. Like offensively, Dennis Schroeder was a guy who was catch and shoot, beat some people off the dribble, and can create his own shot. So I think Shake Milton has proven, at least from that Cleveland game, that he can, once he gets in the right position, he can shoot that wide open three in the corner. So, yeah.
Yeah, like a spot up shooter, secondary creator. Those are some terms I would throw around with him. Yeah, Alan, your turn.
Yeah. So we're going Rui Hachimura for this one. And I got to look at his game log just because I feel like we always have to look at that in terms of these. It could be iffy, and like he does have good games, but he has games where the stats don't truly tell the entire story. So versus Cleveland, he got 7 points, 5 rebounds, shot 3 for 10, 0 from 3. Versus Portland, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in that one. Wasn't too efficient on it, at least shooting wise. And then versus Atlanta, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Shot 6 for 9 and 1 for 3 from 3. So I think he's B, but I think it would be like bottom of B. But since we don't have anybody at B, Rui would just be a B.
Yeah, based on his A last week, automatically getting bumped down a tier. Not gonna lie to you. I just think with Rui, the only reason I'm not going C is because last game I feel like he had some pivotal rebounds for us. He had 8. That was pretty good for him. Game 4 they had 6, 3, and 4. I mean, that's arguably that's like Jackson Hayes numbers, if we're being honest. Then the game before that, 7 and 5. Ooh, I don't know, man. Rui had a tough week. I'll say that. I think he had his moments. I gotta give him extra points for that pin down off the glass. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a crazy block like that, like 2 games before that as well. I think it was versus Cleveland or maybe the middle game. I can't remember, but he had a couple of moments. So he was A last week. I think, well, there's nobody in B. I would say the bottom of B or the very tippity top of C, but it's up to y'all. I'm cool with whichever one.
I think you guys are disregarding the D-Lo tier. And I do think it makes sense here, actually, because D-Lo, think about it. D-Lo had some great offensive games as a Laker, like Rui, but we would still put him in the D-Lo tier. And then so we're talking about pretty much no defense, but Rui had a few blocks. D-Lo had a few steals. Like, there's something with those guys, how they play. Like, there is talent, and they also kind of in certain weeks can be annoying and not lead to wins. And I kind of view that as a D-Lo tier. Now, I understand like Rui is on a different tier than Jackson, which also makes it harder. But I'm almost thinking I'd rather have Rui and D-Lo and Jackson and D. But I'm good with anything. I really don't care.
I think, like I said, stats wise, like I said, he's a player who doesn't tell the entire story. Yeah, I think D-Lo too is very much fair enough. Like I said, he was very much consistent with the last week, but this week he fell into D-Lo just because he's there, but he's not too impactful. So yeah, I'm very much with it.
All right. You know what? I don't want to get stuck with that other mid player, so I'm gonna take one of the bats of the team. I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. I'm going Anthony Davis. Don't want to touch that Aloko guy. Not gonna lie to you. He's cool though. Sure, he's a cool person. Anyways, I got Anthony Davis, the top of A, and I'll tell you why. The reason why he's not on S tier is because he didn't play one game, and I can't give somebody S, in my opinion, unless you had like 40-20 game for ADs. The reason why he's on top of A for me is, yes, he didn't have 20 plus points in the game versus Atlanta, but boy, oh boy, he was everywhere. He had 18 points, 19 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks and 4 assists. Very active. I know we complain about Anthony Davis when he's not aggressive or he takes bad shots. I agree. He definitely should be more aggressive on offense. But if you spread around the stats and really look at the box score and see his impact on both sides, that is an elite game for an NBA player. Almost a 20-20 game. 3 blocks, 3 steals. Very active on the defensive end. So I give him that. And I think, what was the other game he played? It was the first game, right? No. Yeah, it was versus Cleveland when they lost, right?
Yeah.
He had 28, 4, and 13. I don't know what the blocks were that game. I don't have it pulled up. But I think that's kind of 2 blocks. All right. So I think kind of rounds out. I got A. I don't think a week like this should be anything under A for Anthony Davis. Arguably, if he played better in Cleveland, we won, he could have been an S, but not this week for AD.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's too much to say about AD. I think we might have gone out of order because I don't remember who I picked. So I could jump in here and then we could let Alan do the last. And Alan, I'll give you the good one in a way. You know, LeBron, GOAT, whatever. Okay? Give me Christian Koloko. Okay? S tier. No, I'm playing. I don't know what he's done.
And to be fair, he did get 8 points versus Portland. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists.
Koloko.
So on any given day,
fuck it.
That'd be S tier.
Give me Koloko B tier. He could be the only one. But also, is that not fair, though, that we're putting him over people who are better than him? I changed my mind again. Give me Christian Koloko, 3rd time's the charm. Koloko C tier. I think he played his role okay. I don't know which order we want to go.
Above Shake.
I think above Shake. I think above Shake, lower than Reddish. If that feels about
I think for me, Koloko played miles ahead of Jackson Hayes. So I'm glad he's 1, 2. He's a skip, hop, and a jump away from Jackson Hayes on tier list. So I'm cool with that for real. Jackson Hayes should not be in the NBA National Basketball Association. Getting 1 rebound a game is absolutely diabolical, and really, he shouldn't even be rated on this tier list. How awful he played, respectfully. He didn't have he had a little Mickey Mouse block here and there, but I don't know, man. He's too tall not to get more than 1 rebound, bro. 1 rebound. Come on. Let's be serious. Shake had 2? Come on.
Shake had more rebound. Yeah, I bet you if you asked Jackson about that, this is what he would say. You know, not everything shows up in the box score. I was boxing people out, so Dorian took the rebound instead. So it was kind of all a team effort. That's how I envision a conversation with Jackson goes. Buddy, you're 7 feet tall. You're next to the fucking hoop the whole game. What do you mean?
Also, Shake actually had 4, so that's even worse.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get rebounds, especially let's say offensively for Hayes, you should be getting 2 offensive rebounds a game. You're 7 feet tall in the game on the Los Angeles Lakers of Anaheim, of downtown LA. Get your rebounds up, buddy. It's you don't do anything else. So, yeah, I don't know why I just took that out on Hayes when we're having a Koloko conversation, but I'll always have a place in my heart for Christian Koloko, for better or for worse. He's a demon, and I remember the day the Lakers got him. We didn't do anything this summer, so I was still excited about Koloko. I think I texted you guys about it, but I remember I posted on my account, the Lakers just got this 7'1" two-way demigod for free, and that tweet did pretty well. I'll always have love for Christian Koloko around here, but we're on to the last. I think Alan's turn it is. For LeBron, Raymond, Marshawn Davis, Anthony, James.
Bah!
James Sr.
Bah!
And by the way, I kind of want to give Bronny his flowers. I feel like we missed that stretch. I forgot. Maybe we did it, but Bronny was low-key A-tier G League player for like 2 weeks there. I don't know if we
S.
You might have been S for G League. So I don't know how that stacks up versus like NBA tier list, but yeah, Alan, when you're ready. If you're not ready, Alan, we could go over to Earl's hot take here. Or wait, we're saving that. My bad. We got to save the hot take. Alan, come back and rate LeBron James.
Bah. Bah. They must have sent the SUVs after Allen to get in the right tier here.
They sent the SUV.
Oh, shit. Locked in, man.
Prepare, man.
Let's go.
LeBron James.
Yes,
this is not a
sir.
I found this. This is LeBron James, GOAT 23, top of S.
Okay.
Oh,
cooking, Alan.
James. Hold on now. Good ranking, Alan.
Top of S.
And that was clean. Top 10 ranking on this. Top 3. He goes Jake.
But yeah, top of S, amazing games. At the find that again. Hold up.
I got a surprise tier ranking. Not to one up you, Alan. Give me Blake Bortles. S tier. No, I'm playing. He's not on the Lakers.
No, I'm just playing.
That's not.
I think
Is showing stats. No, never mind. I was about that, but like I said, LeBron James has had an amazing week versus Cleveland. He shot well. Like he was one of the main reasons why we were sort of in that game versus Cleveland for a bit. He got 23 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Was it like during that game when the Lakers were like down a couple bit, like 10 plus? He hit that corner 3-pointer that they sort of lessen that lead versus Cleveland. So that's something versus Portland. 38 points, almost 40, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 for 10 from 3. Amazing shooting right there. And versus Atlanta, 30 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and just greatness overall. So LeBron James, he is the top of S for this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think LeBron is top of S. LeBron played pretty much perfect. And the stretches he went on, he was hitting some crazy shots, crazy threes. That 3-point shot is back. And I will say, I am taking credit for LeBron James. Ever since LeBron James and me were in the same room, he's fixed his jump shot. He has become LeBron James again. And 2025, he's averaging 30 plus points a game. So we ball.
Yeah, I agree, man. Where'd Alan go? Am I glitching? Oh, there he is.
Bah. You're muted, Alan.
There you go. There's our tier rankings for this week. LeBron James, top of S tier with Austin Reeves. A tiers is AD, JJ Redick, and Max Christie. There is no B tier this week. C tier is DFS. About to say DeLorean. Cam Reddish, Christian Coloco, Shake Milton. At D tier is Dalton Connect, of course, injured. Vando, Christian Wood, and Gabe Vincent, who I believe is doubtful for tonight's game. So we'll have to update that. For South Bay Lakers, Bronny James, Quincy Oliveira, JHS, and Armachori. And the D'Lo tier, the elusive tier that's unspoken of here and there. So got Rui and Jackson Hayes. So yeah, lastly, these for you guys, what is your hot take for this week? And then we'll end the podcast. And of course, we'll plug the spaces that will be within the next couple minutes, I imagine.
Yeah. I don't know when the space is. I mean, I know the game
is
is
6:30. I think he said 30 before.
30 before
in the chat. Yep,
Yeah.
6:30. Ma says in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Malpractice Mal. Yeah. So wait, I just saw a tweet. It says, "Here you go, Drake." I wish I could send it in, but I don't know if it'll send right. It says, "Here you go, Drake. Affection, connection, direction, reflection, selection, protection, correction, election, objection, injection." And it goes on and on. You get the point. And I was thinking, that's a great tweet. It goes on for a long time. He gave Drake literally 100 words that rhyme with affection. And you know what? That's how Drake talks, man. When Drake hops on one of those freestyles, he takes one word like affection and just goes the whole song is just rhyming that. And the reason I bring that up, even though I thought it was funny too, is like, do not be talking about my king, Drake. Okay, we used to rock with you a little bit. We used to like you with your melodies and your Western Road flows and all that. But I've been a Kendrick guy, just being from around LA my whole life. But now that Drake is talking about LeBron, we're done with Drake around here. I'm just saying. Me personally, I'm done with Drake, bro. Like, you can't be talking about LeBron, bro. There's clips of him circulating of him saying, like, "You told me that you were proud of me," talking to LeBron on like a podcast. I don't know if you all saw that. I just can't. Like, bro, don't diss LeBron. It's not LeBron's fault. Anything that happened with like you and Kendrick, it's weird, bro. So
yeah.
Anyway, I always got to defend my king till the end. So that's all I'm doing. But in terms of hot takes, I know Earl's got plenty more than me.
Yeah. First hot take for me. Testing, can y'all hear me good? All right. My hot take is this. Today is the day of Anthony Marshawn Davis. This is the day that Davis will go off for 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 4 blocks tonight versus Şengün. It's time that he faces his fears versus European centers and locks in and gets a dominant game. I'm not talking about 19, 18. That's cool and all, but give me 40 and 20. I think he's going to have a great game. And I think, hot take number 2, I think we win. I think we beat the Rockets tonight, get a huge win, beat a top 3 seed, and show people why this team has a lot of potential. And we're one, I feel like 1.5 more moves away from competing for a championship. The reason why I say 1.5 is because I think Vando and Seawood are a big question mark for me, because I have more so Seawood for me than Vando, because I know Vando, he's a defensive menace. We know JJ Redick will use him right, but Christian Wood could be the backup center option we've been looking for. I don't know. We can't ignore the fact of what Christian Wood looked like before he came to the Lakers. Maybe JJ Redick can get him back to that, shooting those open threes, getting back to his offensive game. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we win tonight, get a huge pivotal win for this team, and build some confidence. And the reason why I'm confident about this too is, like Rue specifically talking about how important the Rockets game plus the Mavericks game was, tells me that they've been talking about it and they're locked into it. So I'm locked into. Let's get these wins.
Yeah, man, I think you're right. Shout out Caden for the news in the chat. Tari Eason ruled out for Lakers Rockets. Gabe ruled out, which we expected. Caden did say something funny to me yesterday. Like, Gabe was like questionable for another game recently, and then he went down to doubtful for this game, which made no sense. Like, how is he regressing? Caden said. But I like Earl's takes. I do feel confident because I feel like it's been a good energy around this team recently. I don't have the best mindset about AD. I hope we see that. I don't know which AD I'm going to get on a given day. That's kind of where I'm at, because we've seen the MVP level AD, but we've also seen a lot of other stuff out of him. So I can't really make a prediction on that, but I could definitely see something like, for me, I guess my hot take will be like Dorian Finney-Smith has his best game as a Laker. And then I would say he gets 4 threes and plays elite defense. So we're looking at like at least 12 points, maybe 12 to 15, plays elite defense. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I guess based on the other games, like that would be his best game. So I'll still count it as kind of a hot take there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Another good hot take would be like Shake Milton drops 15 points. So I'll just say that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do feel like that's kind of a decent hot take, especially with Gabe still being out. So I'm going to go with those. I'm going to ride with the 2 new guys basically this week.
We are continuing Austin Reeves triple-double once again. I think 20-plus points, maybe 10-plus assists, and then rebounds. Probably 10 rebounds. He doesn't grab too many rebounds per se, but I think he'll definitely hustle and try to be physical versus those Rockets guards. And yeah, expecting great game from him. AD and LeBron will do their thing. I can't give a prediction to that one because they been on different sides of the court. LeBron James is on that 30-point scale, while AD is on that 20 plus, maybe 15 plus here and there, but he's still being impactful defensively. So yeah, I expect a great game, a W, of course. And about these posts are right here. As mentioned, I put down in chat. Join the Lakers space on X/Twitter, hosted by Mark and a couple of our playoff LEL hosts, which you'll see later for this Rocket stream here. As always, join in on the fun, both on X/Twitter, both on ours, Quest18 Pod, or of course, as mentioned by Mark/Clutch_23. So yeah, at least from final words, and also anything you guys want to plug in before we do edit podcasts.
I'll say I love basketball, love the Lakers, and happy Sunday. Enjoy time with your families.
Yeah, everyone have a great day. It was fun to do the podcast again. Looking forward to the Laker game here. Should be a great week. Everyone going back to work and school. Shout out you guys. Get through it. Do your thing. I know for me, work starts to pick up a lot, so we'll see how that goes. My real job, not my fun job over here. So yeah, everyone have a good week. We'll be back on X, like we mentioned, but also back here a little bit later, less than 2 hours, or so 1.5 hours. We'll be back over here for Lakers Rockets.
Yeah, with that being said, is always go Lakers. Have a great rest of your weekend /day, and peace, everybody.